Hello everybody and welcome back to Kuon. So last episode we entered into the Fujiwara mansion and we promptly lost our sister. We also met a couple of singing twins and we started to cleanse our souls. So today we're going to enter the mansion itself. One thing I forgot to mention about the save points is that all of the save points are on the water. There are no save points inside of the mansion itself, so to save you have to go outside again. One more look at the tree, if I can get the right camera angle. And we will notice that the tree has 3 distinct holes on it. And all 3 of them look like they are bleeding. I would keep that in mind as we progress through. So, the question is, where do we go from here? Thankfully, after we met Sakuya in the last episode, we find that the door she came out of was this one. And it looks like the Gaki that was banging on the door is now dead. A mutilated Gaki lies here. It looks like one hell of a fight. Anything else? No. What else do we see here? Kind of a straight line. We have another corpse. It isn't moving. It appears to be dead. I don't know if you caught that in the darkness, but up on the top of the screen, we saw a ghost push right by. Is there anything up here? No. But there's nothing left to do but to follow. Surprise! There's one thing I remember somebody saying in regards to Dark Souls. Not knowing if the fog gate in Dark Souls 1. I'll finish that thought in a minute. So there's Vertigo. We killed the Gaki. So we're nice and okay again. But to finish the thought, in relation to Dark Souls, one commenter on their video stated that not knowing what was behind a fog wall was part of the tension of Dark Souls 1. And that's here too. Not knowing what will attack you behind a door is very similar to that. So let's check this out. And it's another small shrine. Seal Mercury has been placed on the door. And there's a lot to do with astrology and the zodiac, and mostly because There's a lot of Taoist philosophy that threads itself through this game, which is fairly authentic to the time period and to the belief systems of the seers and the Omnyoji in the area. And we'll talk a little bit more about that really soon, and I believe that's this episode. So the front gate, the front door, is blocked off. It isn't moving. It appears to be dead. And he has a blood trail leading all the way out into underneath the house. Nothing there, so we can keep on heading to the left. Another door. And so now we're on the left-hand side of the map, and we are on the other side of the pagoda. Kureha's note. Note left for Kureha, dated 2 weeks ago. I will be away for some time. If something strange happens, proceed to the manor. I'll prepare many victims for you to merge with. What does that mean? So this is a note left for Kureha, who is our sister. But victims? Merging? What's going on? Nothing to do but to keep on moving. Run a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna attract a Gagi over here. We come down here, we find that it's just a loop. The door in front of us is locked up really tight with a high-powered seal. So the seals are all named after planets. We already saw one of them. This is our second one, and it is a Saturn seal. And each seal is ordered 1 through like 9 or something, 1 for each planet. And Saturn has 6 different seals that you use for a single seal. And the bloody cloth that we gave Sakuya has so if we look at the sacred cloth for Earth, we already gave one to Sakuya, like I said, and it has 3 blood drips on it, and that corresponds to 3 seals on the door for Earth seals. This is the vessel. Again, it's a little boat with a person in it. So let's take a left and head down. See what's there. Looks like it's blocked off, so we can't go that way. Like many games of its type, it's a lot of checking every door you can get into. So here's another door. And it looks like we've reached an armory of a sort. And of course, the map tells us the same. And the map will also tell us all of the seals that we've discovered. So we've discovered a 6 franc seal. So there's a couple of shinies. Guardian dog, and this is actually a bad translation. This is what is called, it's a lion dog. I forget what the name is. It's Inu something. And you'll find these statues outside of every big complex. And they are guardians, and there's usually 2 of them in front of like every complex. I'm sure you've seen them. And here is just one. It's a small statue, but it's heavy. It's probably somebody's paperweight. So knowing about what those guardian lion dogs are, you know that there's got to be 2 of them. And that they are outside of every building in the time period. So that's something you should know, and that can get a little confusing if you don't. Here we have another scroll. It's another advice scroll. Advanced survival. If you are attacked, struggle with all your might. That's pretty much the end of the tutorial. Over here, we see another vessel. Take that. And the vessels are a save currency. Nothing else on the shelves, but there is something on the wall. Well, there's some sort of device on the wall. Actually, give me just a second. We'll look at the device and then I'll talk about it a little bit. Oh, okay. I forgot that it removes the sound effect while you're looking at it. This is called, in the game, a Sears symbol. In order to open the door, all 3 discs have to be positioned correctly, left or right. Move the center disc first. Press anywhere in the D-pad to rotate the disc, left or right, and X to confirm. If you make a mistake, press circle to undo. Now, the game wants you to look at this, have your eyes glaze over, and then ignore it for later, because there are a couple of clue scrolls to help you solve this puzzle. However, you don't need them. But first, before I go and solve this puzzle, I wanted to talk a little bit about what this actually is. The game, or at least the localization, calls it a Sears symbol, but really this is a bakwa. And bakwas in Taoist cosmology, I'm just reading some notes I took off of the wiki. They have symbols all around representing Taoist cosmology, and it represents the fundamental principles of reality. There are trigrams, and you can see them at the very edge. They look like light lines, straight lines, and they're either broken or unbroken, representing yin or yang. And trigrams like those represent or relate to Taiji philosophy. And Taiji philosophy relates to everything from astrology to anatomy to family to geomancy. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. And a greater yin is the moon, which is Tai Yin. And Utsuki's name, half of its kanji has the moon in it. And a greater yang is the sun, which is Tai Yang. And Sakuya's name in kanji, half of it is directly related to the sun as well. Now, I mentioned that this puzzle doesn't actually need any clues that you can find in the mansion to solve. There's actually a sound that you just listen to or listen for, and that'll just tell you you've got it right. Oh, sorry, I hit circled one too many times. So you're listening for that sound. And once you have it, it bounces you right off and it unlocks the door. So let's go see what we get in there. And there was some banging on the door, so let's be ready. That's one. Utsuki only has a 2-hit combo. Make sure they're dead. See what their bodies have, if they dropped anything. So one dropped some dust. Looks like that's it. That's a great shot right there. Here's some more dust. And in the other chest, something is lying on the ground. We get some more sutegumo. You can see the back of the puzzle. On the top of the shelf, we find some pliers, a tool used to remove spikes. Anything else? Nothing left, so we can leave. Make sure we're all healed. And we're all done here. So behind the next door, we'll find that it is locked, barred shut. And we'll find ourselves at a pavilion. We're going to ignore the obvious and check the sides. Basically, we're going to circle the drain. We're going to find that this is blocked off. As we enter the manor, we can see a person sitting at a table. So let's go see if we can't talk to them. Well, is that some way to greet a guest? Well, she left all her stuff here, so let's take a look around. Ayako's letter. Letter from Lady Fujiwara to her daughter. Dear Ayako, I am going to the temple because the manor is in danger. If it's safe there, I will come to get you. Until I signal you by ringing the bell, do not open the door. If I haven't returned in 10 days, gather up the wooden discs and spikes and proceed to the temple. I guess this was Ayako. And she has a few dolls here. And I guess before we came barging in, she was playing with her dolls to pass the time. It appears well played with. A couple more over here. And over to the left, there's some more hibari. If we check the door won't open. How can it be opened? Well, thankfully we already read the letter, so we already know how. So that's a new goal for us. So let's go up this way and see what we can't see. A partition has been placed here to block the way. So that side is knocked out. Getting jump scared and then having to meditate a little bit. You guys can't hear it because I lower the volume of the game, but that's really loud in my one ear. Because I only have, my earpiece is just like for one ear. So let's go follow that ghost. And there's more tempests. If you were wondering what happened to the man at the beginning in the FMV as the game starts up, that is the same man. Make sure we're all set there. And we'll follow. Strangely, there's a moth that reveals a small hole. I guess it's time to be a little bit nosy, huh? Peers through the small hole in the wall. And here's a little tutorial for this little peering thing. There's Ayako, we gather. There's a book that we can find later. Uh-oh, what's this? Uh-oh. That looks like our sister, Kureha. How did she suddenly become magical? Let's be nosy a little bit more.
Korea?
That got me the first time. I knew it was coming and it still got me. Well, Ayako's about to have a bad day. But we made it to the other side of the partition, so let's take a look. We find ourselves in another corridor. What's behind door number 1? Looks like a tiny little bedroom. But there's a book here, so let's take a look. Servant's Memorandum. Memorandum written by a servant concerning Ayako. Terrified of the demons that come out at night, Ayako sobs. Shut up in her room, she weeps silently. She believes the demons won't notice her if she hides in her room and doesn't make a sound. Miss Ayako will open the door only when Lady Fujiwara rings the bell brought from the North Pavilion. Ayako is as beautiful as an angel. We servants have vowed to protect her, no matter the cost. But now we know where the bell is. It's in the North Pavilion. But reading that gives us a little bit of a world state change. And now, there's banging on this door. Something is pounding on the other side of the door. So the Gaki don't have a huge chase radius. Lord Fujiwara is in the background. Sorry, it's a little bit of a spoiler. So apparently, Lord Fujiwara, the man from the opening FMV, is also searching for the bell. And as he passes, while we're in the middle of reading the servant's letter, he and his retinue of Gaki are pushing forward. One of these Gakis did drop something, so let's pick it up. There's dust, and my health is at yellow. So instead of using the dust, I'm just gonna meditate a little bit. I think one of the Gakis did hit me. So now if you check, the health is at blue, we're at full. I actually find that rather forgiving for a FromSoft game, that health can be just regained for free like that. So the door next door has a Venus seal on it, and there's some writing on the wall. Very similar to what you'll find in Shadow Tower Abyss or in Demon Souls or any of the modern FromSoft games is messages. The seal must not be removed. The creature in there is not a Gaki. And they mean this seal. This seal is an Earth seal. And we gave our only Earth seal to Sakuya. So we can't open this one yet. So let's push on. And this door is budged, and now we can see our progress. So the first time I fought those two Gaki, I stood my ground because I was a silly person, instead of running away from them and then getting a better position because they try to pincer you. I really love the camera angles in this game. The camera angles in this game are rather great. So now we have a Gaki eating the body we saw. If we pass through over here just to check to see what we've got, we find a dead end. So the only way forward is through the front door. Also, the sound design in this game is pretty great. So in this room we find a couple of things of interest. Some more hibari. This must be the Lord's suite. Elegant belongings surround the area. In here, we see some more spiders running around. And a book. Green bound book. Green covered book with teeth marks. I saw Miyoshimaru break a seal when he was sick. Miyoshimaru used some kind of blood-stained cloth and rubbed it against the seal. So he's the one who sealed the door. If I can get some of his blood, I should be able to escape from the manor. I'll wait until he's not looking. Then I shall strike and have some of this blood. Miyoshimaru is an interesting character in Kuon. And we'll learn more about him soon, but Miyoshimaru is a servant. And then we find the owner of the room, ostensibly. And he's the source of where all the spiders were coming from. But we do find sacred cloth mercury. Bloodstained cloth removes seal mercury. So he might have been successful in getting Miyoshimaru and using Miyoshimaru's blood. Over here we find that the way is blocked. But there's another passageway. Go up this way first. The passage is covered in blood. To our right, there's a blocked door. Thankfully, we have a way to progress. They are reusable items, by the way. So we find ourselves here. Hug the wall, see what we find. More blood. And if we check here, we see that the door won't open. This door has a Venus seal on it. And this door, which looks really disconcerting and covered in blood, we find someone.
Father?
Utsuke, where is Kuriha?
Korea is... The song put her in a trance, and she disappeared. Please. Please help me find Korea.
She's my daughter. Don't worry. I want to give you this also.
This is Father of the Year, Doman. And he gives us the sacred cloth of Venus.
There's something I need to take care of. Go now. Find and watch over her.
Yeah, sure, Dad. Continue messing with the body in a casket. Can I talk to you even more?
Aren't you worried about Koreha? Go find her.
Sure, Dad. Sure. But since we got the Venus seal, and there's a Venus seal right here, let's take a look. Nothing here, but there is an arm more. This thing did the same thing in my first playthrough. Trying to get the kills. There we go. It's a flesh thing, very similar to the same enemy in Dark Souls 3. It has a ranged attack, as you saw, and it's kind of hard to hit because it is so low to the ground. And this one sort of relies on that surprise and the hit of vertigo or tempest energy at you. But let's see what we won. We got an elixir, which is holy water, healing deep wounds and leaving no scars, and some more hibari. So we find this tent, and it looks like it's covering some blood. It is impossible to see in with the drapes drawn. But on the left-hand side, there's another puzzle, so we're going to take a look at that. There's a device on the wall. Manipulate the device? Zodiac puzzle. The door can be opened by solving the puzzle involving correctly positioning the symbols. Press the D-pad to select a button and X to move it. The left button moves the symbols horizontal, and the top button the top bottom moves them vertical. That was really weird to read. But this is really simple. So you click on the ones that the rows or columns that don't have anything lit up, and it opens. I think my one criticism of this game is that the puzzles are actually really easy. So if we come in here, we find a few items of interest, a partition, and a shelving unit that has a vessel and a tiny little shrine. At both sides of the altar are plinths on which something is kept. There seems to be some sort of device involved. Now remember when I told you that the lion dogs are outside of every building, and since this is a tiny little building, the guardian dog lions go right there. There's still one more to find, but I'll just leave that there. We have another door. And this is another door out into the garden. but we'll turn around and we'll save this for a little bit later. We have a few more things to explore before we're done with this episode. I guess we haven't learned our lesson. We're gonna be nosy some more. Something moved inside the hole. Something shiny, like fish scales. And that's what you get for being nosy. It also suggests that the water flows underneath the mansion as well, something we need to keep in mind as we continue. We just used our mercury cloth to open this door. Take a look inside. In here, there's another door with an earth seal on it. Some shelves. We find another vessel. And we find ourselves another book. Silkworm Journal, Volume 1. Records of silkworms kept by Miyoshimaru. The servant boy, Miyoshimaru, gave me some silkworm eggs. I saw many of these black eggs on the mulberry leaves. When I thanked him and gave him a toy to play with, he bowed to me again and again. Everyone ridicules Miyoshimaru and says he's feeble-minded, but I like this gentle soul. I'm keeping these silkworm eggs a secret from my mother and sister. If they see them, they'll make a fuss because they're squeamish. I watched them all day, but nothing happened. Tomorrow I'll ask Miyoshimaru if there's something special I need to do. June 19th. Miyoshimaru told me the eggs will hatch in 10 days. They need to be kept in a warm place. I put them in a room that receives more sunlight. June 22nd. The eggs are turning gray. I was upset because I thought they might have rotted. When I asked Miyoshimaru, he said they should hatch very soon. June 24th. The silkworms have broken out of their shells. They're very small, about the size of my fingertip, and are covered with fur. Following Miyoshimaru's instructions, I gave them young mulberry leaves, which they gobbled up. At this rate, they'll grow quickly. And those are really important bits of the lore and the backstory that leads to what is going on now. And there's a couple of more books that we'll find along the way. But since there's nothing left to do here, time to go. Dead end? Means we can move to the other side. So that's a Venus seal, so we can enter here. Looks like there was a pitched battle in here. The dripping of blood falling from the ceiling. Looks like chaos ruled. And over here we find a spike nailing a rope to the post. But first, in front of this armor, which is probably Lord Fujiwara's ceremonial armor, we find the seer's memorandum. Warning left by the seer. The spike was used to suppress the gaki. Do not remove it under any circumstances. So what's the thing we need to do? Remove the spike, because that is obviously the thing we need to do. Thankfully, we already found the pliers, so we're going to use that. And that releases a gaki. Yes, game. I'm a little busy. If you walk a little far, the game will remind you that you need to get a spike. Trails of blood are smeared all over the walls. What in the hell happened here? So we'll take our prize. Another demon suppressing spike, so that's our second one. Broken bows, broken arrows, spears all over the place. Something strange. It looked like our sister. She's the only other person who wears a red over kimono? There are huge scars on the wall made with great force. We're going to follow our sister, but first we're gonna go this way. And head over to save, I think. Is it this way? No. Alright, so I guess we're just gonna follow our sister then. She was dragging a body this way. Sounds are heard from the other side of the door. I looked through the opening between the door. The door has closed. Some people value their privacy. Alright, so let's go this way. Ah, yes, this is the way to save. If you crouch, one can crawl underneath. Crouching. Crouching allows the player to enter an arena that is otherwise impassable To execute a crouching move, press X where you are near the location you wish to enter. Use the D-pad to move. And it's only in certain locations. But we've found ourselves a save point. So we've done quite a bit, and we've explored quite a bit of the manor. Basically in a big horseshoe pattern. And as you can see, the river does flow underneath the Lord's suite. And we've filled out our map some more. And we've started even noticing where all of the wicker caskets are. But we'll get to that soon. For now, let's send our sin down the river. And that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you guys join me for the next one. Bye-bye now.